even the ultimate flow, hard bottoms. I mean, it's just, every dynamic you can imagine.
Totally
In South
different.
Palm Beach, it's,
That's
10,
totally different.
yeah,
different
12, 15 miles up the beach is very different. So even though they've hit some challenges there, it's less about meeting resistance to, for instance, surf riders, as much as it is really more environmental and just the overall flow and its ultimate impact, or lack of impact, it would ultimately have to what they're...
Are they talking about giving us any kind of a temporary beach?
No. I mean, when you say temporary beach, ahead of the breakwaters itself,
Yes.
yeah, we were on schedule to receive, and now here's where the dance gets a little, interesting, is we were actually, this year, supposed to actually have some renourishment on hotspots for our beach, as they call it, hotspots. And with the new permitting process, there is an actual new permitting process in place right now that requires municipalities to ultimately step forward and provide, it's now a full application project instead of a step through, you can skip 7 or 8 steps. You actually have to go through the entire process. Bottom line is, we missed, because of that, we weren't able to hit the window to put sand on the beach because of the nesting season. So,
Because that beach is whatever beach there is.
I don't know why, but I
It's-
thought that
it's a major challenge. I mean,
when we
it's-
agreed for the county to re-nourish our beach though, I thought they were responsible for all those steps.
The county has to put forward, the county, this wasn't a state program when they talk about re-nourishing those
Oh, okay.
hotspots.
Thank you.
So what ultimately transpired is the county, like any municipality, would have to go step through, right, Rex? So they have to essentially emulate what a municipality would have to do in terms of seeking a permit. They can't provide themselves their own permit. They have to ride that up the ladder.
The rumor is that the county is broke as far as this.
Well, the county is broke, but I think, again, from a funding standpoint, there are funds for those, and I hear from many different, whether it's DEP or even Army Corps, for those that are critically eroded, there are, I guess you could say there's a pinch fund, as I've heard it called, that you can actually, have access to. The key is, again, the key is the permit. So that's why we continue to move forward with the process we're enduring right now. And if we can get through each of these steps and get closer to the actual permitting, then the arm wrestling comes with the funding. But I mean, each thing is stepped out appropriately. So if we see 90 or 120 days down the road, we're going to be postured in such a way that we can ultimately, thank gosh, we can move forward on the project itself. That request for funding would be placed. It's a 90-day process.
Now, all the permitting is in.
All the permitting up to where we're at right now is current, updated, and approved.
We don't have to resubmit any of the permits.
No, it's a staged out process. I mean, it's a timeline. I mean, you're permitted. You can't permit. The one thing I've come to learn, which coming into this I was somewhat naive. My understanding, at least my theory, was you're permitted a beach project. Why the heck? Let's move forward. The reality is there are a myriad of segments within that permitting process. So you may be permitted to start a beach project. I mean, if you think of it in a seawall, you may be permitted to start the seawall, but we're going to come through and step by step, we're going to make sure that you're...
Brian, you walk the beach quite often.
4 or 5 times a week.
Tell me, have most of the condos been putting the numbers on the wall?
Thank you for bringing that. That was my closing segment. So
Oh.
Yes, there are a number of walls. Yeah. And just as a refresher for everyone, in case you're nodding off, the address numbers are being placed on the back of all the seawalls. And again, to Rex and to the chief, it's a fantastic idea. Anyone close to that horrible situation we had here,
Hope the
it's a great opportunity that, God forbid, anyone else should get in trouble and have access to a phone you can pick up immediately, because But yes, the numbers are very much visible. I mean,
How are we doing as
my
far
wife
as?
was asking me, could I swim out about a mile and see if I could see the numbers? And I said, no.
If they're out of
That
mile, I don't
depends.
think we'll see them. I
She
know.
gave you the rep with the whole
Yeah.
on?
But no, the numbers are good. I mean, they're stenciled, very neat, very uniform. You know, they aren't, so blatant that they're ugly.
Because I saw the one in the back of the Mayfair, and theirs looks great.
Palm Sea has theirs. So, I mean, they're slowly but surely, we're working our way down the beach. And,
Good.
as I've told Rex and I've told some, and I think the chief, I'd love to see, I think this has traction to ultimately become some sort of a, potentially a law, because there are a number of these. Another one in New Smyrna where a husband passed away, whose wife tragically, she did survive, which is the good news, but I mean, again, another scenario where it took them 12 minutes to get to this individual, because they, the 911 calls where they were on the beach. And,
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, and as long as all the condos do it.
yeah, no, I agree. And I think, I don't know, Rex, have you heard any resistance? I haven't heard.
No, we're working with each one of them on an individual basis, because, we tried to get the numbers and get the proper number of numbers, given our addresses. It'd be terrible if the postal service came by and changed all the numbers. But anyway, no, we're working one-on-one with each of them.
Thank you.
Give me a moment. My little phone cap came off, so I'm trying to get back on.
Resolutions, tab 4, the attorney, would you please read this resolution for us?
Certainly. Resolution 02-2010, a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of South Palm Beach, Florida, approving the 8th Amendment to the Solid Waste Collection and Recycling Franchise Agreement, providing for a 36-month extension until September 30th, 2013, attaching the rate schedule and effect as of October 1st, 2010, in accordance with the Consumer Price Index increases allowed by the agreement, providing effective date and for other purposes.
So we need a
Mr. Mayor?
motion.
This is, by the way, great negotiations by our town manager, 20% less. And we thank Waste Management, and I'd like to make the motion.
I'd like to also thank Brian Merbler for actually coming up with, let's put it out there for bids. Well, we didn't have, I don't know if we did or not. We did. I think Brian at the last council meeting suggested that we are trying to save money in our budget. So I want to thank Waste Management for coming back and serving us for another 36 months until September 30th, 2000.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
how about if we go for 5 years? I like that 20% off.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they're going to want to go.
Yeah.
I'll sign the 5 right now with 30% off.
There's a CPI increase, so.
He's here.
Could we ask them?
Butch, you're here. I mean,
Yeah, Mr. Carter's in the back, he's got black eyes and you can hold your ears. You know what I have to say, we have,
Like
to,
5
and you can
years.
just do this, but, to quantify that savings, per condo in a time, and Butch and I spoke today, in a time which we're in unprecedented territory here, and I spoke to whether it be the operations gentleman at Barclay or Mayfair or Palm Sea and any variety of places. I mean, we're talking about net savings of $3,000 to $5,000, in some cases $8,000, $9,000 on our larger condo units. So I mean, in a time between, still trying to shake foreclosures and short sales and folks not being able to pay or not willing to pay, whatever the case may be, it's one of those much needed boosts to the HOAs of the 26 condo units here. And again, Mr. Carter, I thank you, and you all have, at the same time, everybody I speak with I can't find anything negative to hear about Waste Management.
And while we can't say it's a direct reduction of taxes, it's a direct deduction of what each of us pays to our condominium association to cover that charge, and we really appreciate it, each of us.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
what, Joe, would you consider 5 years?
I hadn't really considered 5 years. It is a significant reduction in pricing, but as was said, there is a CPI clause in the agreement that would continue, so we would accept the 5-year agreement.
Wow, good negotiation.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we accept the contract 5 years at 20% off.
I second.
So we are amending the resolution.
We are amending it.
To reflect a 5-year or 60-month extension.
Yes.
Until, and I don't know when that would be, September 30th, 2015.
Okay,
Good.
very good. We have a motion on the floor. We have a second. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Was it motion to amend it? Don't we have to motion to amend the resolution?
Well, there was really no motion on the thing yet, so then you
Yeah.
made that.
There wasn't any motion.
No, so
Oh,
I
okay.
read it, then
Good,
I
okay.
modified it. Now the first motion is by Vice Mayor.
Right.
Okay, good,
And
So
so,
we can do
we'll
that.
go back then, so,
Yes.
okay.
good.
Okay, for a vote,
Call for the
Councilmember.
vote.
We need a vote.
Sorry.
It's an issue.
Vote, yes.
Councilmember Lillybeck,
Yes.
Mayor Millar,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Clayman,
Yes.
Councilmember Merbler,
Yes.
and Councilmember Jordan.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Butch. Have a good day, good night.
Thank you.
Mr. Attorney, your witnesses, please.
Butch is gonna probably take early retirement after these.
Yes, this is a first reading of the public hearing for the ordinance that you directed the attorneys to go and write. Ordinance 256 and 257. I'll read 256 first. An ordinance 256. An ordinance of the Town Council of the Town of South Palm Beach providing for the submission to the electors of the town an amendment to the town charter to provide that the maximum building height for all structures located on the east side of A1A, except single-family homes, be limited to 60 feet above one-story parking garage located at ground level, subject to measurement requirements and non-conforming structure regulations, providing for the adoption of entirely new Article 9 to be entitled Development Restrictions, and a new Section 9-1 to be entitled Height Restrictions, providing for the submission of the proposed charter amendment to the electors of the town at the general election to be held on November 2nd, 2010, providing an effective date should this amendment to the charter be approved at such election, setting forth the form of the question to be voted upon at such election, providing a conflicts clause, severability clause, and authority to codify and for other purposes. That's what's before you this evening.
I move to amend the ordinance to strike out all reference to the November election and replace that with the March town municipal election.
What is the date of the next municipal election? Don't look at
No.
Second Tuesday in March.
Don't check your calendar.
Second Tuesday in March.
that. Well, second Tuesday.
This amendment is being requested because I have learned that to have this on the November general ballot, there would be a cost to the town. And in lieu of the fact that we are all acting in a fiscally responsible manner, I wish to change this date so that there will be no additional cost to the town. Since we are having our municipal election in March, it will be added to the ballot without any additional fees.
That date is March 8th, 2011.
March 8th, thank you.
I'll second that.
We have,
The change in date, is that what we're voting
Yes,
on?
you want to take a vote on that initially, and then I'll read the ordinance again before you.
well, I'd like a discussion before we vote on it.
Just on the date.
change?
No,
Just on the date.
on the ordinance itself.
Right, but the only thing that's up for motion right now is just that date